So let's talk about XRP, because as we head into 2026, it is at a massive crossroads. You've got these really exciting price jumps on one side, super bullish statements coming out, but on the other hand, there are some pretty serious technical warnings that you just can't ignore. It's a huge moment for the token, and we're going to break down what it all means.
And that really brings us to the core question here. Is XRP finally on the verge of a massive breakout? Or is it actually headed for a breakdown? Let's dig into the data and see what's really going on behind the headlines.
All right, let's kick things off with the good news. Let's look at the optimistic side of the story first. There's been some real positive momentum lately, and it's totally worth understanding what's driving this bullish argument for XRP's future. Okay, first up, the raw numbers. XRP just recently saw a big price jump of over 8%, pushing it back over that $2 mark. But it's not just the jump that's interesting, it's why it happened. This wasn't just some random market noise. It was really driven by a major surge in trader optimism.
So where's all this good feeling coming from? Well, it really boils down to a couple of huge things. First, there's this growing belief that we're finally going to see a friendlier, or at the very least a clearer, regulatory environment from the SEC. And second, that clarity could be the thing that unleashes a flood of institutional cash that's been sitting on the sidelines, just waiting for a green light. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just traders guessing. Ripple itself is pouring fuel on this fire. They came out and said they've never been better positioned, and they pointed to what they're calling unprecedented institutional acceleration. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, and it definitely suggests they see something big coming over the horizon.
And it's not just talk, right? Beyond all the hype, we're actually seeing real-world adoption pick up steam. XRP is getting integrated deeper into European banking infrastructure to help with global payments. It even, for a short time, surpassed BNB in market cap, which shows you a serious amount of capital is flowing into this ecosystem.
All of this real-world use has sparked this really compelling narrative, the idea of XRP as digital silver. Think about it. Just like real silver is both a store of value and a critical industrial metal, the argument is that XRP can serve two roles, as a global liquidity asset and as a functional tool for transactions. This whole idea shifts the conversation away from just short-term trading to long-term utility.
On top of all that, the technicals, the charts themselves, are starting to flash some pretty encouraging signals for the bulls. The RSI, which basically measures price momentum, is signaling that the recent downtrend might be running out of gas. And get this, some analysis of open interest, that's the number of active contracts in the market, suggests there could be potential for a 50% rally if this buying pressure keeps up.
So that all sounds pretty great, right? A clear path forward. But it's not that simple. There is one very, very significant technical warning sign that casts a huge shadow over this whole optimistic outlook.
Yeah.
But that's the big word here. For all that positive, fundamental news, the charts are telling a much, much more cautious story. Get this. For more than 400 days, XRP held this rock-solid price level. For over a year, anytime the price fell to this point, buyers would just swoop in and push it right back up. It was a reliable floor. And that floor has now been broken. Okay, so why does that matter so much? Well, think of that support level like a trampoline. For over a year, it caught the price every single time it fell. Now that trampoline is gone. For analysts, this is a major red flag because it suggests that the buyers who used to show up aren't there anymore, and that could open the door for a much bigger drop.
And this is where it all comes together. You've got this huge clash between the bullish story and the bearish chart, and it brings us to the core dilemma. It creates two completely divergent, almost opposite potential futures for XRP as we move through 2026. And we're not talking about small moves here. The difference between these two paths is just massive. On one hand, you have the bullish path, right? Driven by all those catalysts we talked about, it could see a rally up towards $10. But on the other hand, the bearish path, driven by that technical weakness, could see it fall way below $1. The key takeaway here is that 2026 isn't shaping up to be some middle-of-the-road year. It looks like it's going to be a decisive one. Okay, so let's try to map this out. What could the future actually look like? I see three main scenarios playing out for XRP in 2026, and it all depends on which of these forces, the bullish fundamentals or the bearish technicals, ends up winning the fight. All right, scenario 1, the green light, the bullish breakout. This is where everything goes right. Regulation clears up, big institutions jump in, and the price just takes off. Then you have the bearish path, where those catalysts just never show up. That broken support level turns into a new ceiling, and the price just keeps grinding down. And finally, there's the neutral scenario, where XRP gets stuck in limbo. Adoption happens, but it's slow, and the price just chops sideways with no clear direction at all. And that really leaves us with the one big question that defines XRP's future, doesn't it? After all these years of building, all the promises of institutional use, and with such a dedicated community, will its massive potential finally turn into sustained market performance? Or is it going to stay trapped by this market indecision and these technical headwinds?
So yeah, that's the multi-billion-dollar question for 2026. And just a quick reminder, of course, this is all for informational and educational purposes. It's not financial advice. Please always do your own research before making any investment decisions.